and welcome in everyone. So today we have a reading on a message that you need to hear. I did get very specific messages with each group. I used my heavy hitters, so the decks that I turned to when I went to get a more detailed message or have a message potentially that I don't want to hear but I need to hear. Those are the decks that I used today. So I did film also groups 1 and 2 together, and then I started feeling sick, so I took a break for about a day, came back, and I finished up with group 3 in this intro video today. So I am in a different black sweater, surprise, and some things might be like moved around a little bit. But aside from that, every group was, I would say there's an overlying theme for the groups today that are all pretty similar in that sense, but I would say each group had very different like details and directions. So feel free if you do want to listen to multiple groups today. I think that's actually probably a good thing. However, if you start listening to a group and you're a few minutes in and it is not resonating with you, I don't think that message is going to be for you. So come back to the beginning and pick a new one. Again, they were very specific today. So feel free, I'll put the timestamps below, but you can pick group 1, group 2, or group 3. I hope you enjoy your message. All right, so if you chose group 1, then this reading is yours. Let's see what message you need to hear. You have release, lighten your load. Love the little wheelbarrow here too. So this fan just kicked on, so my incense is really stirring up. Let's go ahead and see what tarot cards you have. You have the Ace of Bones or the Ace of Wands. You have the Nightmare of Cups or the Knight of Cups. The Five of Cups. You have the World. And you have Judgment. All right. All right, group 1. So I think there's something that you're wanting to do, something that you're kind of being called towards. I think it's something new, but I think you are holding yourself back, and there's a lot of what ifs that are going through your head of what if it doesn't work out? What if I get hurt? What if, potentially what if I get hurt again? And actually, I love this Five of Cups here. These cups here look like hearts. She's holding on to it really close, right? She's not letting this go. I like that too with your release of it is time, I think, to let go. I think that this chapter for you is either you have just recently experienced like an end of a chapter in your life, or it is coming soon for you. But I think that with this, I think you need to learn from what has ended. Take away the lessons, even if it might have felt a little painful. There are lessons always to learn. And I think that you do need to take these with you, move on, let go of your old self, let go of who you used to be. That's not you anymore. You've grown. And yeah, really nice time, I think, for you to release. I think that's a nice card that you've gotten with everything. I think it's time to release. I think it's time to move on. I think it's time to follow your heart. Yeah, definitely for some of you, you could have been hurt. And that's what's causing you to not want to pursue this new thing, or, your heart, you're being called to do something. You have this excitement going on of, oh, okay, what's this new thing? Or I could go ahead and do this, but, and then you start with these buts, you start with these what ifs. However, with the World here, I do think that, again, this chapter is either has just closed for you or is coming to an end. So I think with that, the important thing to remember is it's okay to take some time to reflect. I think that's needed for every chapter that ends, but don't get stuck there, and don't just immediately try to move on to the next thing without taking that time to learn, to grow. But there is something I feel like really soon after, and potentially it could even be while everything's going on, while things are coming to an end and closing in, one aspect of your life, what this next thing is that you want to do. But again, I'm getting some like hesitation. Also with the Ace of Bones in this imagery, sounds a little a little harsh, but that's what some tarot readings are for, right? I'm having this message of have a spine, which again can sound a little harsh, but I think it's really just like you have to do this and you have to not be afraid. You have to allow yourself to be led by your heart. And really just, I'm getting like, release this old you and it's time to move on. I'm gonna have to move this incense because it is very strong right now and it is going right into my face. So let me move this. I'll move your cards up and then we will some oracle cards. Okay, so I moved the incense a little out of the way. It's now kind of blowing in like this direction. So hopefully it stays there, but we'll see. So we have some oracle cards to get through. We'll start off. You had a few pop up in the different ones that I've pulled. You had 2 for your Dreamscape Oracle. So you have the scales and elephant. Oh, I love elephant with that. So the scales really, I'm getting like weighing your choices. And it could be too that you have multiple things that you could do after this ends for this. I'm going to just call it the next chapter in your life. And you might need to take some time to weigh those options. But I also get to, you're kind of like this with like tipping things in your favor, of making sure that this next step, you're putting things in your favor. You're kind of putting yourself first too. For some of you, again, that could be something you haven't done in the past, but now is the time to do so. And with elephant too, this card specifically talks about reaching out to others. It's a very social card. Talks about finding those that are really like your loyal pack, relying on them, asking them for help. So it could be whatever this new calling you have. You could need assistance to start it up, to get some advice. Maybe there's someone in your life that you can reach out to, kind of like a mentor, or even just getting together with friends. Could be a nice way to almost have, I'm almost getting this too, this funny, it popped up in my head of like having a party to celebrate the end of something and the start of something new. So kind of having this, and not necessarily throw it like an actual, like, hey, if you want to throw like an invitation, if you have like a recent breakup, you want to throw a party for yourself of this breakup, go for it. However, it's more so just getting together with friends, celebrating that, this chapter, potentially whatever it could have been, is coming to an end. But again, you have these new things that you want to do and you want to take to accomplish, right? To follow after and to chase. Love that. You did have 3 Moonology cards pop up. So you have full moon in Cancer, a personal issue reaches a resolution. This here. You have full moon in Taurus, your dreams need a practical plan. And you just have the full moon. I love it. 3 full moons. The time of this recording, there is a full moon tomorrow. That's okay, yeah. So 3 full moons. Love that. So we'll start off with your full moon in Cancer. This card talks about a challenge that you faced is either coming to an end or has come to an end. And in this time, emotions can run a little high between you and other people. So just make sure that you're staying calm. This card also talks about to stop sulking. So if that's potentially something, maybe you have been a little hurt, again, like I said, it's great to take time to reflect on things and to learn, but there becomes kind of that tipping point, right? Of like, all right, now are you just kind of throwing yourself a pity party, or are you sulking a little bit more, where now is the time to switch into gear and move forward, right? But yeah, really overcoming insecurities. So for some of you, that could be a nice step of what you're being called to do. And then with the full moon Taurus, I actually pulled this card for myself recently. There were some of the meanings in here I was reading, and I was like, man, I feel like I'm being called out. So it really talked about, could be that laziness is the reason that's causing an issue. Could be that you're chasing money instead of chasing your dream. It does also talk about kind of this, I would say, like magnetic energy of negativity attracts negativity. So you do need to make sure that you're not putting that out there, because that's what you're going to be getting back in. And then it also just randomly in here, it's like, you need to exercise more. And I was like, all right, I'm getting called out for everything here. And some of these times you're like, I don't appreciate it, but I do. So thank you. So could be some of those messages are also meant for you to hear. It could be some of these things that could help you in moving on, could help you in releasing some things that you do need to let go of, or just changing up things, right? So kind of like that, like negativity is attracting negativity. So I do think there's a change that needs to happen in that, right? Tipping that scale. I like that. And like no longer putting out more negativity than positivity. Because of course you can't be positive all the time. That's gross. No one wants that. However, you also don't want to be putting out an excessive amount of that and drawing that in and kind of having that cycle happen, right? And I also like to just the simple, like your dreams need a practical plan. So not really just wishing upon a star and being like, all right, well, I know what I want. Like, let's hope for it. You need to put it into action. It's that whole release, let go, move on, have a plan, write things down physically if that's going to help you, kind of like a first stepping, or if you need to reach out to people to kind of get things in motion. But just make sure that you're acting on things. All right, now that my dog has stopped barking, your last Moonology card, you have the full moon, surrender to the divine. I do want to read on this one. I always love reading at least one card, or one, yeah, using the booklet for one card. We have wonderful messages. So this card says, the very word climax brings all sorts of ideas and images to mind. Agreed? But it really is the feeling of this card. Life is coming to a head, a point, a conclusion, or a turning point. There may be some kind of change, or possibly even some sort of emotional explosion. I like that too with your personal issue reaches resolution card. It says, tune into your emotions now and see what they're telling you. They're very likely close to the surface. No matter when in the moon cycle you've pulled this card, matters will soon conclude and you'll find out whether or not your wishes are going to come true. The odds are in your favor. Ooh, I like that with the scales card. As this is a positive card, but you may need to work harder than usual to keep your cool as events unfold. Yeah, really like that actually with your other two full moon cards. Additional meanings for this card says a wish you made may be about to come true. It's make or break time. There could be a sense of madness in the air. Breathe deep and stay calm. You may need to forgive someone to release negative energy. Like that message. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And it is time to let go of the past and move on. Love that message for you. Love that message for you with your cards. It's beautiful. I love this next oracle deck that I pulled from. This is the Halloeen Oracle. This one is always really, I feel like I pull these cards when I need just like a really strong clarification on things. And you have Apple, risk and reward. Another heart imagery here. So this could just be something, I like that too. I feel like, okay, I got a lot of things right now. For someone, it could be that this issue that you need to let go of is a matter of heart, is a matter of maybe it was a relationship. Maybe it was the way that you think of yourself in the sense of like, how do you love yourself? This could be where you need to re-examine things. Could have been the issue that is kind of holding you back. But I also like that too in your message of following, letting your heart lead you on your next chapter. And with risk and reward, this Apple card really talks about too of, is there a change that you need, but you know this, but you're not doing anything to change? Also kind of that attitude of, are you not risking enough? Is there something in your life that you're kind of going for, but you're really not putting enough risk into it? Kind of those like what ifs that are holding you back from really going all in, taking that leap in the dark, just going for it regardless of, could be a little scary, could be like, oh my gosh, well, what if this does fail? But because of those what ifs, you're holding back and you're not putting enough in, so you're not actually going to get there. You're not actually going to accomplish this thing. This card is also mentioned too because I always love to make sure that you're not risking too much too often. So keep that in mind where if you do start to, could be that other end of the spectrum, right? The other scale over there, you're risking too much all the time. So just make sure that you are like the scales card that you have of keeping that nice balance on things, right? Everything's a little tipped in your favor, but you also don't want your scales off balanced. And lastly, you have the Threads of Fate Oracle cards. Another, something about the gold accents in cards. I guess that's what I'm drawn to. Ooh, look at that. You have the Death card. I'm telling you, when these are my like hard hitting cards. You have the Death card. First off, absolutely beautiful. I love this Death card. Love the artwork in all of these cards. However, with this Death card, something is definitely coming to an end or has ended for you. Chapter in your life has ended, a door has closed. However, why we love the Death card here is because this brings about new opportunities. It lets you explore new areas that you wouldn't have been able to before had that door not closed. All right, sorry, it is close to feeding time for my dog, so they're circling. But yeah, I think right now you're either in this time of this death time or you're getting close to it. It's on the horizon for you. But again, with that, with all things ending brings about new beginnings. So for you, I do think that there's something that's ending, there's something you need to release, there's something that you need to move on from. However, with that, it gives you this time to follow your heart, to go after, put things in your favor. What do you want to do? What do you want to chase after? Don't let yourself be afraid. Don't hold yourself back. There's a message that's telling you you need to go for it. And you are being called towards something new. Right now, you might be holding yourself back, but this message is tell you stop doing that. Release it. Move on. Move forward. There are new things there for you. It is time to move on, to follow your heart, learn from what you need to, but no more what ifs. Wonderful. Yeah, I feel like it was a very clear message. So if you got to the end of this, none of it resonated with you, go back, pick another group. This message might not be for you because I got a very, very clear message here with these cards of what you needed to hear. However, I am excited to see what's new for you. So let me know what you thought of this reading. And I'll be that annoying person since I'm still a new channel. If you want to like this video, leave a comment, do the whole subscribe thing, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But I hope you did enjoy your message. And until next time. All right, so if you picked group 2, then this is the message you need to hear. You have Wallflower. Look for the crack in the concrete to find your way out. So I have some Oracle cards. We will start off with your tarot though. So you have the Wheel of Fortune, the Ethereal or the Empress. You have the Guide or the Hierophant, the Hermit. Wow, 4 major arcana cards. Also love this Hermit card. You have the 8 of Cups, and you have the Terror of Crystals or the Page of Pentacles. Okay. All right, group 2. Okay, so getting a pretty strong message that there is something you thought that would be making you happy, but it's not as fulfilling as you were imagining it. It's not really for you. It doesn't really suit you. It's something that maybe you did because they were like, this is what I need to be doing. This is what's expected of me. This was what I was told to do. But now that you're in it, now that you're here, it's not for you. And so I think this is a nice time for you to realign, right? To go after some new ambitions. I think it's time for you to set some new goals. I also think it's a good time for you to learn from others. However, these cards specifically, this one talks about learning from people that you want to, not the ones that you've been told you need to learn from. So again, I'm getting this message of there's something in your life that you were maybe told that you needed to do or thought you needed to do just because of like external expectations on you almost, or it's just the way kind of the things unfolded. But now is a time for you to seek out from people you want, like learning from things that you want, from people you want, and exploring things that are actually like looking inward to figure out what it is that actually suits you, what it is that actually makes you happy, that makes you feel fulfilled, or is going to make you feel fulfilled. I think too, for someone, it could be a nice time to study again. But I really think it's going to be a nice time for you to grow, to really like connect, to focus inward, and also too to be receptive. So if there are new things that you're looking to go after, you're kind of taking some time to realign yourself, I'm getting, make sure that you're also receptive too if other people are trying to help you out, trying to give you advice, if you're starting to learn from others. Because it might have been in a way that you were kind of the teacher for a while. You were the one who was, taking charge of doing these things, and now is the time to take a step back from that for a moment. I also like too with your wallflower card, look for a crack in the concrete to find your way out. I think there is something that you want to escape, you want to get away from, you want to change, and now is the time for you to do so. Yeah, I think it's a nice time for you to realize what you need and to move on. Again, kind of have those fresh goals. Now is the time to do that. Awesome. Let's go ahead and get your Oracle cards, see what else we can add to it. Let me go ahead, I'm just gonna readjust this and pull up your Oracle cards. Okay, group 2. So for your first Oracle card, you have the Dreamscape Oracle and you have the Sun Bear. So I love the strength of this card, but this does also talk about listening to your intuition. And then the Sun Bear is all about like self-reflection to help you heal. And I like that with your Hermit card as well. So I think group 2, it could be a nice time you do have the Wheel of Fortune, right? So there is some change that's going to be happening. And I think this card is a nice reminder to look inward, to focus a little bit more on yourself, on what it is that you really want, what it is that's going to help you grow the most. But yeah, I really like listening to your intuition as well with the Empress here too. Your next Oracle card for your Threads of Fate, you have Get Curious. Yeah, love this card for your reading. This card talks about that you could have been feeling bored. You could be in this state. And I think this is like this message. I think for some of you too, you're bored. I think that's what this is. In life right now, you're just bored. You're like, oh, I'm doing the same things over and over and over again. This card's a nice reminder to start exploring some new things. Really let your mind wander. Go and explore new things, no matter how small it is, how silly it might feel. Like, even if you don't know where to start, just let your mind wander. Start getting curious about other things that maybe you haven't allowed yourself to do before. Start learning new things. Start exploring different avenues that, again, it could just be picking up new hobbies to kind of like give you that spark back. Beautiful. We do only have 2 more Oracle cards for you. We have your Moonology, and this is the new moon in Capricorn. Your hard work is paying off. I feel like we got this one of our other readings recently, but this card does talk about a lot of potentially a new career starting. So for some of you, it could be that this change, what you're feeling bored in, what isn't as fulfilling for you that you thought it might be, is your career. And this could be you realizing now is the time for you to go out and seek some information, seek some guidance into changing this, into making it so that you are finding something that's more fulfilling for you, finding something that's more aligned, like a career that's more aligned with your true self, with what it is that's going to bring you actual happiness. And again, this is a card for like a good time to study. but really talks about being ambitious too on what you want to achieve. So whatever that is, make sure that you're going for it. Make sure you're putting in that work, right? Love it. Now lastly here, we have my Halloeen Oracle deck. I absolutely love this one. It is definitely a hard hitter. And you have the Skull of Light, Illumination. Do you want to read on this one? I feel like this booklet is also really nice information here. So this card talks about knowing our own darkness to help us cope with the darknesses of others. It says taking the time to know thyself, love that with your other cards here, and to seek understanding of our more destructive or shadow natures can lead to huge happiness and less anxiety. It says the idea of being shown the way in the most difficult of times and always knowing that we are never alone in the darkness are the keys to this magical element. I like that with your Hermit card with the imagery here, especially. I love the lantern that the Hermit has and really being that guiding light in the darkness. It says light is usually a comforting thing, yet sometimes we do not really want to see the boogeyman under the bed. It is too scary, too big, and we know not how to defeat it. Yet, by simply shining the torch upon such darkness, the victory is ours. This card says, should the Skull of Light enter your life, know that it is time to open yourself fully to the clarity of bright illumination. Allow yourself to be seen, to see, and to act upon what is shown to you. Oh, I like that. It says the time has passed for hiding, for pretending, and for swallowing our discomfort by accepting the status quo when it doesn't really suit us. Yeah, so I think for some of you, you could have been just accepting this, right? Whatever this is, because again, it felt like this is what you were supposed to be doing, what other people are supposed to be doing. This specific guide card mentions in the deck, I forget how they phrase it, but of seeking teachers, seeking the ones that you want, things that you want to learn, teachers that you want to learn from. This is a Hierophant card of following the footsteps of others that you're wanting now in your life, as opposed to the ones that have been forced upon you. And so I think this is a really nice time, like it said, to, how did it phrase it? Time has passed for hiding, for pretending, or for swallowing our discomforts by accepting the status quo when it doesn't really suit us. It says, allow yourself to be seen, to see, and to act upon what is shown to you. I like that message. I like that. I think, yeah, definitely a time for you to, again, find that crack in the concrete, get out of there. Seek what you want. This doesn't suit you, whatever you've been doing, wherever you are in life, if it's just that you're bored, it's not for you. And I think you know that. If you're still here in this reading, I think you know that. And I think that you need to, now's the time for you to, even if it's just, maybe it's not even necessarily that it is coming to an end. You need to like quit your job right now and go find a new one. But it could just be a time to start exploring. What are my other options out there? What else could I be doing? What else might make me happier? Now could be a really good time for you to start exploring that, right? Love it. Let me know what you thought. I know these can be, again, if you're still here, feel like you held on because this message was for you. But if you got all the way to the end and you weren't feeling it, go back to the beginning, pick a new group. Group 1 was somewhat similar, but enough differences where if you wanted to, you felt drawn to group 1, maybe go back and listen to that one as well. But hopefully you enjoyed this reading. And as a newer channel, I'm going to do the cringy thing of saying like this video if you enjoyed it, leave a comment, do the whole subscribe thing, blah, 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 blah. Okay, hated doing that, but I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time. All right, so if you picked group 3, then this is the message that you need to hear. You do have strength. Don't let weeds and thistles cultivate in your garden. You do have some oracle cards, but we will start off with your tarot. So starting off group 3, you have 5 of bones, or 5 of wands. You have 6 of crystals, or 6 of pentacles. You have the star. You have strength. Oh, that's funny. And you have strength up there too. Okay, yeah, so big message there. Ooh, and the Chariot. I love this Chariot card. I think this is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Chariot cards in all the decks I own. It's so different from the imagery that you normally see. I think this deck is just absolutely gorgeous too. Also my incense, it's really kicking up right now. All right, group 3. Yeah, so I definitely think that there is something I'm getting to, like, digging up your past and it causing an issue. And I'm kind of getting two separate messages for that. For some, I'm getting that you need to dig up your past, that you have been ignoring it. You kind of like buried it. You covered it all up. You're like, we're not going to think about it. You need to go and you need to dig that up. And then for others too, for some, and I think you'll know too, is that you need to, there's something from your past that's actively causing you issues. It's causing you to feel lost. It's causing you feeling a little bit battered, almost a little unsure of yourself, of the direction that you want to go in, and you're kind of double guessing yourself because of this. So either way, I think there is something that you do need to address. I think there is something that is causing you an issue that, again, maybe you have been ignoring it. Because either way, whether it is you need to go and kind of contemplate and figure out what this is that's causing this blockage for you, or if you know exactly what it is, the message I'm getting here is you need to heal from it. It is time to heal. It is time. I think too that it's time for you to forgive someone. And I think forgive someone knowing full well you're not going to be getting anything in return from it. And by that I mean like physically or verbally. Like, you're not going to go and tell someone, hey, I forgive you, and expect to hear, okay, I forgive you too, or I'm sorry. I think you need to forgive someone purely just for yourself, for your own well-being. And you have the Strength card, right? So you have strength here too. And this card specifically here, this deck even really mentions that this card comes to you when you need it the most, when you need that reminder that you are strong enough for this. And I think someone needs that reminder right now. I think someone needs to hear that whatever this is that you are going to have to look into, to contemplate, to heal from, you're strong enough to get through it. And you're also being urged to move forward from this. Like, I'm getting, it is time for you to heal. It is time for you to forgive, whether that is someone else or yourself. And it is time for you to regain that confidence, that power, that decisiveness that maybe you've lost. And it's time for you to move on. So if you got to this point in the reading and that message is not resonating with you, I think this is very clearly, if you know this is for you, it's for you. If that message isn't for you, go back to the beginning, pick a new group, because that is the very clear message I am getting here for this group. But let's get to your Oracle cards. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'll move these over here. Okay, we might need to adjust that later, but we'll work with that for now. Okay, so for your Oracle cards, from your Dreamscape Oracle, the card you got is Memory. Okay, yep. So I definitely think this is something from your past, something that you're holding on to. And I'm almost getting, you know what it is? I just got really sad all of a sudden. I got really like, this is something I feel like that is so, I'm gonna say delicate, in the sense of like, I want to hold it, I want to protect it. I don't know who needs to hear this, but like, I'm sending you so much love and energy, because I want to give you a hug. Like, that's the feeling I'm getting from this card, and from what I'm needing to like say is just, this is very like personal and deep, and I think that this might be hard, right? But man, this needs to happen. There's healing that needs to be done. There's forgiveness. There is some needing to just like, for yourself even. Oh yeah, I'm getting kind of, this is like, I'm getting, ooh. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just move on to your other cards because you do have a few more left. You have two from the Threads of Fate Oracle deck. You have the Sacred Sexuality and the Pillar. Oh, okay. I really like these cards together too. So with Sacred Sexuality, this does talk about, I mean, your sexual energy is so much a part of you and is so, I was getting just like, so deep, right? And this card talks about really like having those boundaries, letting this like empower you, but also knowing that this doesn't mean you're expected to like act or look a certain way. It just really talks about examining your relationship with love, with your sexual self, right? So is there something that you need to examine to set up some more like boundaries within yourself? Is there someone, do you need to reestablish the having the love that you deserve in your life? Do you need to re-examine that and kind of figure out what that looks like to you? And maybe you aren't getting the love that you deserve, and this needs to be re-examined. And then too, with the Pillar, this just talks about really getting pushed outside of your comfort zone, because I do think, especially for, I mean, I don't think that this is necessarily going to be the easiest thing to do, but it is walking away stronger. It is walking away better for it too, of developing into the sense of saying like this really like, right, like a strong pillar who's there, who is not going to crumble so easily. But again, it's going to take some effort, and it might not be easy. All right, well, we'll pull open your Moonology because you did have two with this deck as well. So you have Look at the Bigger Picture, Full Moon in Sagittarius, and Surrender to the Divine, just the full moon. I love it. So with Look at the Bigger Picture, really what I'm getting is you, before acting on it, because this could be an issue where if you go and just start right away trying to fix this, to try to solve it, to try to resolve it, it's just not going to work out the way it should, right? As opposed to taking time to step back and examine it, to really figure out where it is you need to start from, what it is that you need to learn, and really reflect on it before acting, before speaking, and really make sure that you're balancing. I'm also like speaking your mind, but not overdoing it. There's, I think, a nice balance between healing and having things resolved and kind of stirring it back up. Does that make sense? So I definitely think that this is a nice reminder just to take some time before you do move forward with anything. You want to like love with the Star card that you have pulled open too. Just make sure that you have that moment. That makes sense. I hope that makes sense. And then you have Surrender to the Divine, full moon, and we actually just had a full moon last night at the time I'm recording this. Hopefully I don't get sick again and I can get this posted today. Do you want to read on this? If you've listened to any of my other videos with Moonology, you know I love this guidebook. I think they do have really nice messages, and with the full moon just happening, let's see, okay. Ooh, so it says, the very word climax brings all sorts of ideas and images to mind. Agreed? So I like that too with your Sacred Sexuality card. But it is really the feeling of this card, life coming to a head, a point, a conclusion, a turning point. There may be some kind of change, and possibly even some sort of emotional explosion. Tune into your emotions now and see what they're telling you. They're very likely close to the surface, no matter where in the moon cycle you've pulled this card. Matters will soon conclude, and you'll find out whether or not wishes are going to come true. The odds are in your favor. And this is I can't ever say that without thinking of Hunger Games. And this is a positive card, but you may need to work harder than usual to keep cool as events unfold. Like that message too, even with your pillar of, it's gonna take some work, and it might be really hard to keep your cool under certain situations, but it is needed. I'm getting the answers that I need Additional meanings, always love these. It says, a wish you made may be about to come true. It's make or break time. There could be a sense of madness in the air. Breathe deep and stay calm. I love this. You may need to forgive someone to release negative energy. Yes. Oh, and this is why these are my hard hitters. It is time to let go of the past and move on. I love that. I love that. I love that card for you. I love those additional meanings. I love it. We're gonna go ahead and just pull your last one. Again, I absolutely love this deck. This is probably one of my hardest hitting decks. This is the Halloeen Oracle, and you have forgiveness. I mean, when I tell you I'm using these cards for a reason, it is because these are the cards I turn to where I need very, very clear messages, even some of the ones that I don't want to hear. You have forgiveness. Yep. So I think there could be something that you're holding on to, and holding on to things, I mean, I feel like this is so easy to say, and yet there are many things I also need to work on, but it can really become heavy when you hold on to these things that you need to, that they're not serving you in life. It might, and again, it could be that you haven't been wanting to deal with this and kind of have been shoving it down. And you're like, I'll get to it, I'll deal with this later, I'm just not going to think about it. But really, it is a very heavy thing. And it is time for you to forgive. I mean, really the message that your cards are saying here, it is time for you to examine some things. It is time for you to heal. It is time for you to forgive. It is time for you to know that you are strong enough to do this, and you are ready for this. But it is time for you to move on. But yeah, know that I am sending you all my love in this journey. You've got this. You're strong enough for this. I mean, the first card you have here was strength. So whoever needs to hear this, know you are strong enough for this. It is time. It is time for you to heal. Well, I hope you enjoyed your reading and you got the message that you needed to hear. I'm going to do the annoying YouTuber thing of it's a baby channel, so if you could like or, subscribe if you haven't already, I'd love it. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, yeah. I feel like this was a deep one, but sending you my love, and until next time.